the day before class elections. Aiden really wanted to be the school president. He was known as the class clown. He liked to tell a lot of jokes, usually at the expense of others. His jokes weren't even funny, but kids laughed because they were afraid of him. Despite acting so tough, Aiden cared about what others thought of him. When Aiden got to class, the teacher was introducing a new kid. He was holding a doll. Aiden laughed out loud. This kid was too old to have a doll at school. The teacher continued, asking the class to try to make him comfortable and welcome. The new kid sat down and put the doll in his backpack, facing Aiden. Aiden was distracted by the doll and its big, creepy eyes. He started hearing drums, repeated drums, over and over and over. He looked around, but no one else seemed to hear them. The recess bell rang and the drums stopped. It must have just been marching band practice. Aiden headed to recess. On the blacktop, the new kid stood off on the side, holding his doll and watching the other kids play. Aiden was weirded out and told the new kid to leave. The new kid didn't budge. Aiden snatched the doll from the kid's hand and threw it to the other side of the playground. "You're too old for dolls." Suddenly, the drums started beating. Louder and louder. So loud, Aiden buckled over in pain, covering his ears. The new kid's eyes got big and he hissed at Aiden that his worst nightmare would become reality. Then he snatched up his doll and ran off. Aiden looked around, but no one else seemed to notice the encounter. That night, as Aiden laid out his suit for his presidential speech the next day, he couldn't stop thinking of those loud drums and how angry the new kid got. Did that doll have powers? That's silly. It was just a doll. Once Aiden fell asleep, he saw the face of the new kid's doll, with its big eyes and a creepy smile. He heard the drums. He saw the faces of the kids he always made fun of laughing at him. The new kid spoke again. "Your worst day is here." When Aiden's alarm rang, he jolted awake, drenched in sweat. Today was the big day, Election Day. Aiden had his speech ready. He was going to show the new kid who was the boss and make fun of all the other kids that stood in his way of becoming class president. When he got to class, he noticed that the new kid wasn't there. Good. Maybe he'll never come back. The principal announced over the loudspeaker that all students running for class president should head to the auditorium. Aiden grabbed his suit and prepared for his big speech. The auditorium was packed with every kid in the school. It was finally Aiden's turn. He checked himself out in the mirror and was impressed with what he saw. His name was announced and he walked onto the stage. The room was very cold and quiet. Then, all of a sudden, laughter. Why were they laughing? Louder laughter. Aiden hadn't cracked one joke yet. Even the teachers were laughing. What was going on? The drums echoed in Aiden's ear again, and in the front row, he saw the new kid with a smile on his face holding his doll. The doll was wearing a suit now, the same exact suit that Aiden had on. Aiden looked down, horrified. He realized he was in his underwear, standing in front of the entire school. The laughs got even louder as Aiden tried to run off stage and tripped. The new kid was right. This was his worst nightmare. Dylan was a very messy kid. He'd leave his snack wrappers everywhere and trail crumbs all over the house. It wasn't that he wanted to make his parents mad. Dylan just hated cleaning. His parents had tried everything to get him to clean up after himself. Timeouts, chore wheels. So far, nothing had worked. On Saturday morning, Dylan is blissfully watching cartoons on the couch when his parents walk in. They announce that they can't keep cleaning up after Dylan or begging him to clean up after himself, so they bought a brand new artificial intelligence cleaning robot. The robot is guaranteed to eliminate even the most stubborn messes. It should even be able to handle Dylan. A huge smile breaks out across Dylan's face. He'll never have to clean again. He must be the luckiest kid alive. Excitedly, the family opens the package to see their shiny, new cleaning robot. Its big sensors almost look like eyes. Dylan's parents think it's cute, but Dylan isn't so sure. They turn on the robot. It glides around the room, scanning for messes. It pauses when it gets to the couch Dylan was just sitting on. "Mess identified," the robot declares. It opens a panel to reveal a glowing compartment and quickly shovels everything into it, leaving no trace of the mess. Dylan goes back to watching cartoons. He opens up a big bag of chips. With each chip he eats, he drops one on the floor, just to watch the robot roll over and clean it up. But soon, Dylan notices the robot isn't rolling around the room anymore. It's sitting right under him, and it almost looks like its sensors are staring up at him. Dylan looks into them for a second, and an eerie feeling comes over him. He takes a deep breath and reminds himself that robots can't stare. Robots are just a bunch of metal and wires. He shoos it away. That night, Dylan snuggles up with his blanket and falls asleep like normal, until he's woken up by a chirp in the middle of the night. He looks around, confused. Then, he sees the cleaning robot looking up at him from the hallway, chirping. If Dylan didn't know better, he'd almost swear the robot looks angry. But that isn't possible, so Dylan closes his eyes again. Dylan hears the sound of wheels turning super fast. His eyes shoot open to see the robot 2 inches away from his face. He opens his mouth to shoo the robot away, but it pinches Dylan's mouth closed with its little claw hand. "Stubborn mess identified," the robot's automated voice declares. The claw tries to pull Dylan's face closer to the hot glowing pit in the robot's open panel. Dylan desperately reaches around the back of the robot and rips out the battery. Finally, it's quiet. Dylan stuffs the robot and the battery under the living room couch, far from his room, and goes back to sleep. When Dylan comes downstairs the next day, his parents are already holding the robot. They want to know why their expensive new cleaning robot was disassembled and hidden. Dylan cries and tries to explain what happened the night before, but Dylan's dad reprimands him. It isn't fair for Dylan to act out just because he likes things messy. Dylan yells that he isn't acting out and begs his parents not to put the battery back in. They do anyway. Dylan watches the robot all day. He's careful not to drop so much as one chip on the floor, but that doesn't stop the robot from saying, "Mess identified," every time its sensors land on Dylan. He begs his parents not to go to sleep that night. Dylan's mom assures him that the robot's sensors must be glitching. She'll call the help number tomorrow and figure it all out. She tucks him in. Feeling a little better, Dylan falls asleep. When Dylan's dad comes in to wake him up the next morning, Dylan is nowhere to be found. "Mess eliminated," the robot chirps from the hallway, sounding almost proud. In a quiet, sleepy little town, there is a boy who can never fall asleep. No matter how hard he tries, he just tosses and turns in his bed. His lack of sleep makes him snap at his parents when they offer him breakfast. It makes life miserable. One night, after lying awake for what seems like hours, the boy gives up and decides to scroll on his phone. As soon as he starts scrolling, an ad pops up. The Whisper, the last sleep app you'll ever need. The boy doesn't question his luck and downloads it. He turns it on and all that happens is a dull yellow light starts pulsing on the screen. This is weird, the boy thinks. How is this supposed to help me fall? But before he can finish the thought, he's fast asleep. He dreams he's lying in his bed and his room is bathed in a dull yellow light. Suddenly, there's a movement from the corner of the room, and the boy sees the source of the light. A tall, slim thing. Its yellow eyes glow in the dark, while its large mouth constantly moves, as if it's quietly whispering. The boy tries to move, but he's trapped under the covers. He tries to scream, but nothing comes out. He can only watch as the thing moves closer and closer. The thing leans over the bed to whisper in the boy's ear. and knocks over the bedside lamp. The boy wakes up with a start. It's morning. Despite the weird dream, he slept the whole night. He's so happy he barely notices that his lamp somehow fell over during the night. The boy bounds to breakfast. His parents can't believe how cheerful and polite he is. He's like a new boy. That night, the boy gets into his bed and turns on the app. He lets the pulsing color wash over him as he easily falls asleep. The boy is in his bed and thinks he must still be awake until he realizes that he can't move. Suddenly, he hears a crack as the floorboard tears apart and the thing crawls out from underneath, its eyes bathing the room in the dull, yellow glow. It looks up at the boy and starts moving towards him until it's so close that the boy can smell its rancid breath. The thing's mouth moves in silent whispers, and the boy realizes he does not want to hear what it is about to say. He desperately tries to cover his ears, but his arms are frozen in place. The thing leans down to whisper in its ear, but before it can, the boy's alarm goes off. He slept the whole night again. The boy is happy, but also a little worried. That dream felt too real. He's so caught up thinking about it that he doesn't notice the weird crack that has appeared in his floor. That night, exhausted after a great day, the boy gets into bed. Thinking about the weird dreams, he decides not to use the app. But after an hour of tossing and turning, he tells himself to not be silly. They were just dreams. He reaches over and turns on the app. The yellow light comes, and he falls into a deep sleep, only to find himself in the dream again. This time, the yellow light is so intense that it's nearly blinding him, because the thing is already leaning over him. He tries to scream, to move, to do anything to wake himself up, but he's powerless as the thing inches closer and closer. It gets next to the boy's ear, and this time, there's no knocked-over lamp or alarm clock to wake him up. The boy screams to cover up whatever the thing is going to say, but no sound comes out of his mouth. Then, in a cold, thin whisper, the thing says,
"You can now sleep forever."
In a quiet, sleepy little town, there is a boy who can never wake up. It's school picture day, and Arabella just has history class left before she takes her yearbook photo. They are studying ancient Greece this semester. As Arabella fusses with her hair, she thinks about the Greeks' philosophy on beauty, which is symmetry, proportion, and harmony. Arabella's hair is wild and curly, with pieces swooping in all different directions. Her hair isn't symmetrical or proportional. The ancient Greeks certainly wouldn't consider her beautiful. Arabella didn't want to be remembered as ugly in her yearbook photo. The warning bell rings throughout the school, 2 more minutes before class. She still has time to make her hair symmetrical. Arabella removes a pair of scissors from her pencil case and brings them up to her locks. Snip! Her hair snaps up, much shorter than she had anticipated. She can even it out. Arabella grabs hair from the other side of her head. Snip! Still uneven. Snip! 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 In the sink are huge chunks of what used to be glossy ringlets attached to Arabella's head. Startled, she looks in the mirror. Her hair is a short, choppy mess. It is neither symmetrical nor beautiful. The ringing continues. Panicking, Arabella slips into history class, pulling her hood over her head. Her teacher is explaining how the ancient Greeks believed in gods and goddesses who could grant the requests of mortals, but that these requests always came at a price. But Arabella isn't paying attention. Instead, she's staring down at her textbook, studying a drawing of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of beauty. She has long, flowing hair. For the rest of class, all Arabella thinks about is the disaster of her short, uneven tresses hidden under her hood. Before she knows it, class is over and everyone is lining up to take yearbook photos. When it's Arabella's turn, the teacher tells her she has to remove her hood. Arabella reluctantly pulls it down. Her jagged, frizzy short hair is on display for all to see. Laughter fills the room. Her classmates point and jeer. Flash goes the camera, capturing Arabella's horrified expression. Mortified, Arabella grabs her stuff and escapes to the girls' bathroom before anyone can see her cry. She locks the door and dumps her bag on the bathroom counter. Out falls her history textbook, open to the same page she had been looking at in class, to the drawing of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of beauty. Arabella's eyes burn with jealousy at the image of the goddess's beautiful hair. "I wish my hair would grow back," she shouts. Suddenly, a faint voice comes from the drawing's mouth, whispering that her hair will grow back. She just needs to be patient. Arabella screams that she wants her long hair back now. "No matter the cost?" asks the goddess. Arabella nods. Her scalp begins to tingle. Out sprouts a lock of hair, silkier and more beautiful than what she had cut off before. Arabella admires the luscious hair now flowing out of her head. It seems to be growing an inch per second. She squeals with glee. Her choppy haircut has evened out, and now she has long, symmetrical locks. But they keep growing and growing. Confused, Arabella looks back to the photo of Aphrodite, but everything beneath her is covered with her hair. The book is gone, tangled somewhere in the long, flowing hair that continues to pile on the floor. Arabella's hair keeps growing and growing, faster and faster, swallowing her up until she's swimming in a sea of thick hair. Arabella remembers something her teacher said. Gods and goddesses could grant the requests of mortals, but these requests always came at a price. Arabella desperately searches through her hair for the textbook, and it emerges, still open to the image of Aphrodite. She tries screaming for Aphrodite to help. The image in the book responds, "This is the long hair you wished for, no matter the cost." Then, the end of one of Arabella's growing locks reaches for the book, wraps itself around it, and slams the book shut. The last photo ever taken of Arabella still exists in the school yearbook. The girl with short, jagged hair who wished to have long locks. Jay is small for his age, and the other kids in school never let him forget it. He always tries to be nice to everyone, but it doesn't matter. Every single day he is picked on, but no one picks on Jay more than mean Matt. Jay quickly learns that the best thing to do is to just avoid mean Matt altogether. So anytime Jay sees mean Matt on the playground or in the hallway, he runs away. One day, while running from Matt, Jay hides in a supply closet. Afraid of being discovered, Jay tucks away deep inside, past the mops and the buckets. The closet goes a lot farther than Jay expected. Soon, it gets narrower and darker, but it keeps going. Jay finds himself in some kind of tunnel that doesn't look like it's part of the school at all. It's festive and colorful. It feels alive. Jay is amazed even as he wonders where he is. Finally, he reaches the end of the tunnel and finds a great door that has a sign on it that reads, "Welcome to the hiding place. No bullies allowed." Jay opens the door and finds a giant playground with many other kids having a great time. All the other kids are friendly and tell him that this is a very special place where kids who are bullied from around the world are able to hide from their tormentors. It's a completely safe place because no bully could ever be allowed in here. Jay can't believe it, but more importantly, he's just so excited to have a place he can enjoy himself with other kids without fear. The confidence Jay builds in the hiding place carries over into the regular world. He begins to make friends there too. He doesn't even seem that bothered when Mean Matt tries to pick on him. Mean Matt tries everything to scare Jay, but nothing seems to faze the new Jay. Then, one day at lunch, Mean Matt trips and drops his entire tray of spaghetti on himself. It's quiet for a moment. Then Jay stands on a chair, points directly at Mean Matt, and laughs loudly. Soon, all of the other kids start laughing, and Matt runs out of the cafeteria. Mean Matt wasn't so mean after that. In fact, every time Matt shows his face, the other kids start laughing, and there's Jay laughing loudest of all. When Matt runs away, Jay is thrilled. He races to the supply closet so he can tell the rest of the kids in the hiding place about how he conquered his bully. But when Jay enters the bright corridor leading to the entrance, he is shocked to find Matt opening the door to the hiding place. But how? Before he enters, Matt looks at Jay. Matt's eyes are red from crying. He quickly enters the hiding place and closes the door behind him. Jay runs to the door. He tries to open it, but it's locked. He bangs on the door, but no one answers. Instead, the entire corridor begins to disintegrate around. Jay panics. He has no idea what's going on as everything dissolves into darkness. The only thing left is the writing where the door once stood. The words, "Welcome to the hiding place," disappear, and all that remains is, "No bullies allowed." Jay closes his eyes, and when he opens them back up, he finds himself back in the supply closet. There's no longer a path to the hiding place, and Jay knows why. Jay didn't conquer his bully. He is the bully now.